much changed team. How long and hard did you think about it? Obviously, 4 guys coming in who haven't played any games so far. But was this difficult, tricky?
Well, we'd had an eye on this team for a week or so, and as soon as we selected the team to play Tonga, it was looking ahead to Romania too, managing people's game time during that game against Tonga, in particular when we got the bonus point, knowing that with a 6-day turnaround, a couple of those guys who started and some on the bench would have to play again. But like some Grant starting and being captain, we'd known that for a week or two.
I guess it's an advantage that there's fresh guys coming in. There must be a lot of energy in there. Guys desperate to play.
Yeah, huge amount of energy. We've not been able to do that much this week of training. We have had a fully blown session yesterday. The day before was a lighter session, but some of the figures we're seeing in GPS have been the best we've produced over the last few weeks. And a lot of that is guys like Hamish and other players that are now in the starting team, desperate to get on ball and desperate to play their best game.
Someone like Hamish, who's a mainstay of the team for so many years, and then Rory comes in and he does so well, and Hamish has to take a back seat. How difficult is that for you to manage?
Well, it's more difficult for the player. Hamish is one of our senior players. He has been a terrific player for Scotland. He's well loved by the group, coaches and players. Just over a year ago, he was captain for us in Argentina. So to be a regular starter, to be a captain, and then to miss out in the 23 for the first 2 games is obviously tough for him and frustrating. And the way the World Cup goes and World Cup preparation games, we didn't make that many changes for 2, maybe 3 of the games, and certainly the first 2 games so far of the World Cup. So players rightly feel that they've not had an opportunity. It's just these circumstances. So now this is an opportunity for him to play in the World Cup, but also an opportunity to put pressure on the players that have started the first 2 games and be selected against Ireland.
Just the last one for me. I just don't want to hark back to the weekend all that much, but I was just wondering, have been contacted by World Rugby at all about yellow cards, red cards? Has there been any clarity?
Yes, and yes. And that process always happens. We ask for feedback. We give feedback on areas that we felt the decisions could have gone a different way. So yeah, that's done, and that's done privately. But in terms of the feedback process, that was all okay.
You alluded to it there, but a chance for some guys to play their way into the Ireland 15 or 23 here as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's hard when you're training to show what you can do in the World Cup. We know that. We go a lot on what players have done for us in the past, and players have been training well. So we know the players are in really good physical shape. But the best way to influence selection is going out there and playing well. And the things we'll be looking for in terms of playing well is sticking to process, showing huge effort, being really physical in our contacts and attack, but also defensively, and helping the team win. And we've talked about this with the group. We certainly want the team to play as a team, and whatever happens with the way the game goes, we've got to make sure that we stay focused for 80 minutes and produce our best performance. We're looking to get better than we were against Tonga, and Tonga was an improvement from South Africa, so this group have the opportunity to do that now.
Gregor, just a word about Jevan Sebastian coming in for his first start. What's he brought since he's come into the squad, and what's made you pick him this weekend?
Yeah, I think he's been probably our most improved player throughout the summer camp. He's worked really hard to get himself in a position where he can contribute physically outside of the scrum, and he's shown that in training. He actually won Trainer of the Week, or we call it MAV of the Week. So that's something that's voted by the players, but the players have been really impressed with what he's done in training. I felt the way he played against France and Saint Etienne, both in the tie but also in the loose, showed that he's a player that's got skills, that can move well, very good rugby player. But the most important thing is his fitness. He's the fittest he's been, and it's a credit to him for the work he's done. And I know he's going to make a big impact at scrum time, because we've seen it in our scrum sessions. We saw it in the Italian game when he came off the bench, and I think we had two scrums that we drove Italy off the ball, and he was a big part of that.
Obviously, Romania have taken a couple of heavy beatings in the last 2 games. There will generally be an expectation that you guys are going to do the same. Does that bring a bit of pressure, just that there is that expectation that you're going to put, 50 plus points on them?
No, look, I think there's always pressure or expectation when you play for Scotland. You know you're going to have to play your best rugby. That's what that jersey demands of you. It will be a different game than what most of these players are used to. It's not a Six Nations game. So there'll be times where it is different. There'll be a different way of defending. Sometimes we'll have a lot of ball. Sometimes we'll make mistakes because it's the first time that team has gone out together. So the important thing is just focusing on each moment and us playing as a team, us doing the work off the ball, the effort, the physicality, getting that right, and our game should flow much more on the back of that.
How's Jamie Ritchie doing?
He's good. He, I believe, passed his last head injury assessment, and I think he has a 3-day wait after that. So he's on schedule to come back and do, I think, bike on Saturday, run Sunday, skills Monday, train Tuesday, and then he'll have to get the forgetting my terms here, but the consultant that you now have to have a video call with after those that are on the 12-day return to play. And if everything goes smoothly, he'll be training fully next week and available for selection.
So you're still confident on course for?
Yeah, and
game,
as I said, he passed his latest head injury assessment, so no symptoms. He's feeling great. He's not obviously been able to train, but he was playing pool last night. So and he's talking really positive about where he is in terms of the no after effects, no symptoms over the last few days.
Gregor, Ben Healy's spoken before about the adjustments he's had to make in terms of a very different attacking style coming into the Scotland environment. Where do you see him in that process, and what do you expect that to look like on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think he's not only is he bought into it, he's shown that he's got strengths that can fit into a game that has more movement, let's say, and more decision making and around opportunities than perhaps he was used to before. He's got an excellent pass. He already is a 10 that knows shape really well, so he's connected with the forwards very well. He understands when a defence maybe has an advantage in one area, how you have to move away from that area. And he's developing a running game too. We see that in our trainings that if there's a space for him, he'll take it. So yeah, he's trained really well. He's been very patient too. He's not played since that first game either, if I'm right in thinking, since Italy. And we know he's got a huge strengths in this game as well, which is kicking. Of all the 10s in the world, he's probably the one that can kick it the furthest right now that we've seen so far in his Test career. And he's got a variety of kicks that we encourage him to use. If we see space, then the shorter kicks can be a weapon that we use in our attack.
A relatively inexperienced 10-12 axis at this level, but is this the kind of fixture that offers you the perfect scope to do that?
Yeah, and Cam has really sort of grabbed the challenge that was there. Like Stafford had trained really well. Stafford got selected ahead of Cam in the Italy game, and the response that Cam's shown since then has been excellent. He's a competitor. He comes alive in in games. Saw that with his performance off the bench against South Africa as well. He took the game to South Africa, and I think this will be a really good opportunity for him. It's likely we'll get a lot of ball, or more ball than we have certainly in the South Africa game, so that more touches for Cam can only be a good thing for us.
Gregor, just going back to Ben Healy, he obviously comes into the squad, still a relatively new player in a new environment and a World Cup environment, but he's coming off the back of this incredible finish to the season with Munster. Presumably that must give him a certain, I don't know whether it's a standing in the squad or certainly a certain level of confidence. What's he been like around the place? Yeah,
he's a character. He's someone that on the field, he's confident to tell forwards where they should be going, what we're doing next in our attack, which is great. That's what you want at 10. In meetings, he'll contribute as much as Finn. When we ask the floor or the group what questions about our attack, but he's also someone that doesn't take himself that seriously off field. And I know the players and him have a lot of fun. Gil Cook might talk a bit more about that, but he's one of the squad. He's fitted in really well with the group, and I think he's definitely grabbed his opportunity. The way he played in the Italy game, the way he played for Munster following the experience he had in the Six Nations, and the way he's trained and played for us since then has been excellent.
Just looking at the Ireland game, of a starting 15 or a match day 23, how much of that in your mind is set at the moment, or how much could Saturday dictate that?
Saturday will be hugely influential, and we've gone with a similar team now for, let's say, four games or 5 games. There's been 1 or 2 changes here or there, but the core of that group have played since France home game. But the other players have an opportunity, and we know this is obviously the final sort of opportunity that they get before we play Ireland. But the decisions before South Africa, before Tonga, before the France home and away games were tight already, in a few positions. So if players play well, it'll be a much longer selection meeting on Sunday night, I'm sure.
Gregor, you kind of were slightly vague when talking about World Rugby.
Oh, you're back to that one.
I managed to pick up on that, yeah.
I was very positive, was I not?
Can I ask, were you content after that conversation?
Yes, yeah, and happy with the feedback process. And yeah, obviously I was very frustrated and disappointed with the actions at the time, and it wasn't the only time I've experienced that in the World Cup. So yeah, you've got to move on from it. We lost a player, thankfully, or hopefully that player's not going to miss any more games in the World Cup, but it was a tackle that should never have been allowed to occur in the game, and should have been a red card at the time, and certainly upgraded to a red card. So that's my view on it. It's a tackles that we want out of the game, and there was an opportunity to do that, and that was missed. But like I say, the feedback process went well, and we appreciated that. Speaking to the officials of World Rugby around it, and then we've got to move on to this game. And those are private discussions. So
yeah, okay. So you're not going to answer whether they accept now that it should have been a red card? No,
I don't think that's right. I think because there's more than just one incident on a high tackle that you debate with referees, and you get feedback on. So there's always a number of things. At least for our perspective, we got feedback in a few areas, including in that one, and we're not always right. We understand that, and we also understand referees make mistakes like we do as coaches and players. But as long as the alignment and the feedback and the joint learning about what is right and what is wrong continues, then we'll get a better game out of it.
Gregor, I think a few of us are speaking to Jamie Batty later. I mean, he's a guy who left Glasgow, left Edinburgh, and his career might have drifted. He's obviously back in. He's competing against a Lion and Pierre Schumann. Can you just say a bit about how he's kind of managed to get things back on track?
Yeah, he's obviously worked really hard. think he's found, as he's got older and more experienced, he's really developed in the scrum area. One of the strongest scrummagers in the game. He also has developed an attacking side of his game, which has been outstanding the last 2 years, which is a pass under pressure. So the ability to put that ball, whether you're tipping to another forward or pulling out the back to stand off. So these are two massive strengths. But Jamie knows that a lot of his work is clearing contact and putting tackles in, and he can do that very consistently. So we're really pleased with the 3 loose heads we have. They've now, I think they've all had a start in the first 3 games. So it shows the competition that we have there and the blend we have with the 3 of them. I thought Rory was very, very good at the weekend. He brings an explosive side of his game, whether it's carrying, clearing contact, or getting up fast in defence, which is unique to him. The other 2 bring their own strengths, but the 3 of them are all operating at a high level, which is great.